Oh, God. Here we go. All right. Okay. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Ask Anything Parking with Andrea. So we are officially starting late today because there's a lot of stuff going on in this household. We're preparing for some things. So, but we're here. We are here. So again, welcome back to Ask Anything Parking with Andrea, where we talk about the real challenges drivers face when it comes to parking. So, today we're going to talk about something that almost every driver has experienced, especially if you're ever going to a concert, a game, or a big event. So, and the question is, why does event parking always feel so chaotic? So let me paint a picture for you. Can you turn that down? Thank you. Yeah, we're live. So imagine this. So let me paint a picture for you. Imagine this. You're heading to a sold out concert. Maybe it's a game, a comedy show, um, and the streets around the venue are almost packed. Cars everywhere. People are walking towards the arena. Traffic is building up. So you decide to do the most responsible thing to do. You pull out your phone, open up a parking app, and you reserve a space ahead of time. Right? Perfect, right? You think, great, problem solved. When I get to the location, I don't have to worry about parking. I could just pull up and show my booking and I'm good to go, right? And then you pull up to the entrance to the parking garage and the attendant tells you, sorry, we're full. We have no more spaces. And now you're thinking, wait, how are you full? Like I just reserved the space. Suddenly you stress, you're late for the event because you figured I have time. Like I'm good, right? Now you're back on the street trying to figure out where to go next. If have you ever had that experience? You are not alone. I've witnessed that myself. I witnessed people showing up at the garage for an event. They reserve their space, and when they show up, the parking garage is full. So and it's stressful at that moment because now you got to figure out, especially if you're not from that area, you're traveling from one borough to the next borough. So you're not, if you're coming from Queens and you're going to Brooklyn, or if you're going from one town to the next town and you're not familiar with that area, you don't even know where to look for parking, right? And most of the garages in that area are probably full because they all are attending the event. Most of the people parked there are attending the event. So for most drivers, event parking feels like a gamble. You may start by searching online. You might try one of the parking apps. You might even drive around the area hoping to spot a garage with availability. But once you're close to the venue, everything changes. Traffic slows down, cars start circling, and you can't find any spaces, right? People are stopping in the middle of the street, asking attendants for pricing, and drivers are trying to make decisions in real time. so going into the garage, is that one cheaper? You're asking these questions. Should I go into this garage? Is that one cheaper? Does this one still have space? Now to add on one more thing, sometimes you did reserve the space on the app, but when you arrive, something doesn't match what you expected, and maybe the garage is already full. Maybe they're prioritizing drivers that pulled up, right? The drive up customers who didn't have a reservation, or maybe several drivers arrive at the same time. That's when frustration starts. So now let's talk about why this happened. Why does this happen? Because a lot of people assume the app is the problem, but the real issues is something bigger. Event demand spikes. When a major event happens, hundreds, sometimes thousands of cars are trying to park within the same 30 to 60-minute window. That's very different from a normal daily parking, right? Some garages sell spaces online and on site at the same time. So inventory systems are not perfectly real time. We know that. And sometimes garages have to deal with unexpected situations like drivers showing up without reservations or people overstaying their time. Sometimes a parking garage will say, "Well, how?" If you ever notice when you go to a garage, they say, "What time are you leaving?" Right? They're trying to get an idea of how long you're going to be in that space. And you say, "Well, I'm leaving at 1 o'clock," and then you want them coming back at 6 o'clock, right? They didn't anticipate that. So that could be another thing that kind of causes problems. Uh, and then traffic blocking garage entrances, which is very rare in New York, but it does happen. And multiple drivers arriving at once for the same time slot. So, yeah, snow as well. Like if it's snowing and it's an outside garage, they have no space to actually put the snow because snow, where do you place snow? Like snow. And if it's cold, it's not melting. So now let's flip the perspective because drivers see the chaos from the street, but inside the garage, things can be just as chaotic. Imagine you're a parking operator or a parking attendant, and you suddenly have hundreds of vehicles arriving within minutes. Attendants are trying to check reservations, and especially if this garage has more than one parking app that they partner with, so they got to figure out which parking app are which parking app are you using? They all have different booking ID numbers, so they're trying to figure it out, right? They have to direct cars. Cars are pulling in. They tell them to stop, but they keep coming forward. Managing the traffic in and out of the manage traffic out at the entrance. So people are pulling out, people are coming in, right? It could be challenging. And handling drivers, their questions, and tracking available spaces. Like some people, you thinking they say they're going to be here for a certain amount of hours, like I said, and they wind up actually being there longer. And meanwhile, the streets outside is getting backed up. Drivers are impatient. People are late for their event. And the attendants are trying to manage all of that in real time. So sometimes be easy on the attendants. You might show up and the parking is not available. Sometimes it's out of their control. So be easy on them. They're just trying to do their job, right? Um, so and so from the outside, it may look disorganized, but what's really happening is a surge of demand hitting a system that wasn't designed for synchronized arrivals, like people arriving all at the same time, right? So what's the real issue? It's coordination. There, there are three major things happening at the same time. Drivers trying to find parking, garages trying to manage the spaces, and event traffic hitting the area all at once. So when those three things aren't well coordinated, drivers end up circling the block, which I did earlier today. Like it's crazy. Double parking, which you don't want to get a ticket for because you will get ticketed. Blocking intersections, you would get a ticket for that too. um, and garages get overwhelmed with arrivals, and when they get overwhelmed with arrivals, they get frustrated as well, and it could be frustrating for them in those particular moments. That's why event parking can feel chaotic, even when technology is involved. So here's the interesting part: the problem is actually solvable. Imagine if drivers could see accurate event parking availability ahead of time. Imagine if garages could prepare for incoming demand before the event even starts. That'd be awesome, right? And imagine if drivers could arrive knowing their space is ready and not show up wondering if the space is not, wondering if they are going to have a space. Because some of the apps, they'll say, well, guarantee your money back if the space is not available. But sometimes people don't want the money; they want the space. I pay for the space. I don't want to have to worry about finding another place to park my vehicle. So that kind of coordination is where parking technology is starting to go. And it's actually part of the thinking behind what we're building at Plenty, where we focus a lot on helping drivers and parking locations coordinate better during high demand moments like events. Because at the end of the day, parking shouldn't feel like a gamble, it should feel predictable. So, if you ever experience any chaotic event parking, I would love to hear about it. Drop your experience in the comments. And if you enjoy a conversation like this about parking, cities, and mobilities, make sure you subscribe and join us again for the next episode of Ask Anything Parking with Andrea. And you know how to hit the subscribe. You just hit that little bell and you can subscribe. And if you like it, give us a thumbs up. Like, give us a thumbs up because like to know. And if you have any, oh, got it, one thumbs up. Hey. And if you have any topics that you would like us to speak about, please drop it in the comments. We would love to hear. We would love to talk about it. So again, thank you so much for joining us. And we look forward to seeing you next week. Take care. God bless.